I made a big mistake. You know what my mistake was? Kilroy. Well, Google Eyes, I call her.
Shut up!
She sent me a video for last week, and it was supposed to be the Halloween special, and I forgot. It got lost in transition somewhere in the email world. Google Eyes, I'm sorry. And for that, I'm gonna drink bleach.
Jane, I'm not recording a video for you.
Okay, I've got some news and a new project here, and it's called The Game Pitch. So, to sum things up, okay? It's going to be a game show. It's going to be a show, something akin to the Dragon's Den or Shark Tank. I know it sounds silly, but we'll have guest contestants who are unpublished who want to pitch their war games, the war game idea, an unpublished design, whatever, to people like Mark Herman, Volker Runke, Uwe Eichert in the publishing business, David Heath in the publishing business, Harold Buchanan, Herman Luttman. Now, as a game designer, when will you ever have the chance to pitch your idea, to get constructive criticism? No one's gonna belittle or bash anybody. This is not the point of the show. It's for the contestant to get very expert constructive criticism from experts in the field, man. It's not. There is no like prize. The prize itself is the advice you're gonna get from Mark Herman on your game. When is that gonna happen? Never. So if anybody has a war game design, a war game in design, you know what I'm trying to say, a war game ready to be published, and not necessarily ready to be published. If you have a great idea and you know how to sell your game, well, give me a call. Email me at noenemieshere@videotron.ca, and man, we'll make a show out of it. You get 2 minutes to pitch your idea. The judges will shut up for 2 minutes. The judges, the advisors will shut up for 2 minutes. We'll listen to your pitch. Then they will confer by themselves and come out and dissect your idea, give you criticism for your game, how to improve it. I mean, this is worth its weight in gold. I mean, I wish I was intelligent enough to be a designer so I can take advantage of an opportunity like this. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna make it my way. It's you know, it's a little bit of a show, so I'll make it a little bit entertaining, but that does not detract from the seriousness of the advice that you're gonna get from people, experts like Mark Herman, Volko, Harold, Uwe on the publishing business, Mark Walker in the publishing business. Who knows, maybe I can nab Gene from GMT, you know what I'm saying? Because he's hard to nab. And man, it's gonna be a lot of fun, very interesting, very entertaining, and good for the wargaming community, man. Alright, so, No Enemies Here at Videotron.ca. All you wargame designers, wannabe wargame designers, give me a call, write it down, you know what I'm trying to say. Give me a call, We'll fix something up, and we'll make a show out of it. All right? It's that time of the year, people. Grognard time of the year, that is. So you have all of November, and you know what? All of November and all of December. And the winner, or winners, are going to be tallied by me, by moi, in January. So I'll say what? Within the first 2 weeks. And that's a promise. Right? Unless something ridiculous happens, right? So, vote for your favorite reviewer, favorite designer, and it's one vote, eh? So you either vote for your favorite reviewer, designer, company. A company can be Grognard of the Year. Writer, artist, and who you deem to be the exalted Grognard of 2020. All right. And as always, I'm exempt. Conflict of interest. Nepotism doesn't work here. Not at this moment. But anyways, vote. Don't make me come and get you. Leave it in the comments below. One vote per person. I know who you are. Ain't none of that gonna happen on this show. This is my show.
And I'm Grant.
Hello, this is Riccardo Masini, and this week's greatest day in history and games is November 8th, 1960. The day when one of the fiercest conflicts of modern world history finally ended. Not a military conflict, however, a political one. The election of John Fitzgerald Kennedy as President of the United States of America. JFK, or Jack, as he was commonly called by friends and family, had been a PT boat commander in the Pacific during the war, earning the Navy and Marine Corps Medal for his actions and leadership in combat. But by the end of the 1950s, he was a young Democrat senator of mainly liberal tendencies. Kennedy came from a powerful political family and was quite well known, but a series of spinal illness repeatedly threatened to end not just his career, but his own life. However, by 1960 he had somewhat recovered, and with his great energy and eloquence managed to win the Democrat nomination for the White House, defeating his future Vice President Lyndon Johnson. His adversary would be much harder to contain, however. He was a very capable Republican leader from California, Richard Nixon. The following competition was fierce, just from the beginning, and the 1960 election proved to be one of the most balanced and unpredictable presidential campaigns in all American history. The two candidates roamed the entire country with speeches, events, media appearances, advertising of all sorts. Kennedy had to face many critics due to his assumed inexperience, his Catholic faith, the opposition of many leaders of his own party who did not share his liberal positions. Nixon, on the other hand, had more support from the Republican Party, started with a 6% advantage in the first surveys and could benefit from a much greater experience, being also the vice president in charge. But Jack did not relent and carried on a very aggressive and effective campaign. In his famous New Frontier speech, Kennedy accepted the nomination and stressed out the new challenges awaiting the United States in the next decades, projecting his political action deeply into the future of the nation. The real turning point, however, was a TV presidential debate. Kennedy appeared smart, responsive, and ready to tackle even the most sensitive issues of Cuba, the civil rights, the ongoing conflict with the Soviet Union, the economic crisis. Nixon, on the other hand, was unshaven, clearly not at ease, and at times unable to keep the pace of his younger rival. As for actual content, the debate was not so disastrous for Nixon, since radio listeners gave a substantial parity to the candidates. But the popular image of the Republican candidate literally crumbled before his Democratic opponent. Kennedy won by a very small margin of popular votes, however gaining many key states, which made him the youngest elected president of the United States. This episode's game brings you back to that pivotal campaign, 1960, the making of the president, first by Z-Man Games and now on a new edition by GMT Games. 1960 takes the usual card-driven mechanic out of the military confrontation and straight to the political arena, having you deal with public speeches, backstage maneuvering, public opinion management, and even scandal dodging. You'll be in charge of one of the two campaigns and you will travel all around the states together with your candidate, trying to promote his public standing, maybe through the crucial support of the local and national media. Speaking of which, you'll also have to prepare two presidential debates on sensitive topics which, as we have seen, may drastically change the course of the entire election. While you try to gain each and every state, 1960 will take you on a deep and interactive tour of recent American history as you may have never seen it. Not on a book or on TV, but from the inside. And you'll understand why war is not a meaning in itself, but just a mere continuation of the real struggle, politics. So, that's it for this week. See you on the next battlefields. Ciao!
Welcome to Reality Shift, the board game simulation of a 3D virtual reality race. I'm John, here with my co-announcer and AI overlord, Prime.
Today is going to be a great race. I don't expect anyone to survive.
Okay. The race is on, with each racer materializing on the start cue. Each racer is choosing their own path. Where is the green racer going? Green is driving on the side of a cube.
There are no limitations of physics here.
The blue racer drops its checkpoint, rounds the corner, and is on a straightaway headed towards the finish cube. The red racer is behind with no clear path to the finish. But wait! Red hacks the track, transforming it and crushing blue under a cube. Oh, ouch! That has to hurt.
The haptic suits I require the racers to wear make the pain real. Ha ha ha.
Oh, that's just cruel! Blue rematerializes at its checkpoint and is back in the race. Green has no clear path to the finish and is far behind red, but green hacks the track and brings the finish closer.
What an expert move.
Red can't catch up, and the green racer wins.
I want to thank our sponsors, Academy Games and Apollo Games, for a great race.
Hello all, this is Kilroy was here with a special request from No Enemies Here to pick a game of the week. And I thought I'd start with Here I Stand, Wars of the Reformation, 1517 to 1555. Why? Because I'm filming this on October 31st, and on October 31st, 1517, Martin Luther nailed his 95 Thesis to the church door in protest with starting the Protestant Reformation. So let's get to this game. It is point to point. So very familiar with point to point games. They are card driven. So you have point values that allow you to do your actions based on the number of points that you get or play through the cards, and then there are historical events that give you flavor for the period and move kind of a narrative forward in this game. So this is a point-to-point game, card-driven. It's not your dad's point-to-point game though. This is a little bit more complex than your typical point-to-point games like Paths of Glory or Napoleonic Wars and things of that ilk. The Revolt book is 44 pages long. There's a record sheet on back. It looks relatively dense, small print, not a lot of pictures, and no color, but don't let that scare you. Again, at its core, it is a card-driven game with point-to-point aspect. What is different about this game is that it is somewhat asymmetrical in that some of the factions, which you play at the 6, kind of have different ways or different focuses that they're working on. Your factions that you get or that can play are France, England, Habsburgs, Ottoman, Papacy, and Protestant. And in that regard, the Protestants are trying to establish their movement and the religion and spread throughout Europe. The Protestants are trying to stave that off. England and France are doing their typical world domination machinations, which actually includes, New World map where you can get discoveries and victory points for that, or get new world riches. So it has somewhat of a global feel to that. Then you have the Habsburgs and the Ottomans playing their role. There's also a full diplomatic process to this game. So is it a war game? Yeah, there's some war elements and there's military units, but it's more of a historical simulation. And I would recommend this for people that really are interested in this topic, know something about this topic, or want to learn something more about this time period. It's a very rich and fulfilling experience. And I would recommend also that you try to find 6 people to play all factions. You get a much better experience that way. It's also a longer game. So I would not recommend this for people just starting out with war games or people just starting out with card-driven games. Kind of go to one of the other card-driven games, or even maybe Twilight Struggle to start out with, before you kind of dive into something like this. So that's my game of the week. I hope you enjoy. Have a good day.
A game for gamers, made by gamers, by Flying Pig Games.
Actually, I'm not selling anything, but I am looking for this game. If anybody has that game at a reasonable price, because everything for me is an extra 30% if it comes from the States. Imagine if it comes from Europe. So if anybody has this game, get in touch with me. Carl Paradzi told me it was a great game, that I might like it. GMT and Red Dust Rebellion, a game designed by Jay Carmichael. This is a coin game, but in Mars. And what you get with this game is a 22 by 34 inch mounted game board, 96 cards, card-based solitaire system component, lots of wooden force pieces, pawns, markers, I should say 1.5 marker sheet, a double-sided full-color player aid, everything that comes in a coin game. And what's cool about it, actually a 3-inch box, and what's cool about it is it's a coin game in Mars! Maybe I'll learn to play a coin game. I don't know why I'm stuck not understanding a coin game. I mean, I played 5 hours with Mark Herman and the Farmer's Aid, the Player's Aid. And after that, well, I went to sleep. The complexity is medium, and solitaire suitability is sky high. Here's a little vid.
Today is a very different video. I'm not sitting here to review a game someone's made, and I'm not here to provide a list of great games or great ideas. I'm here to do an ad for my game, a game I've been working on since 2017. I started making this game about a year before the channel even kicked off, and it's finally going to be available for pre-order. And it's been an amazing experience to be the designer on a game, to have an idea, take that idea, test it, play it, design it, evolve it over a period of 4 years to the point where we're finally ready to put it forward for pre-order. So I front up and talk about games all the damn time, but it's really different when you're talking about your own game, your own thing you've made. And I guess at this point you're thinking, what the hell's the game? Why are you wasting our time? Tell us about the game. And the game is called Red Dust Rebellion. It is part of the Coin series by GMT Games. COIN stands for Counterinsurgency, and this series has historically done titles like the Vietnam War, Afghanistan, Cuba, and the decolonization of British India. They're very serious real-world topics. The COIN series focuses on irregular wars. Those are conflicts between two forces that aren't regular armies lining up to fight each other. In irregular wars, many of the combatants live among the citizenry. They take up arms only when they are heading off to fight. And irregular wars can be very messy with a lot of shades of grey. Red Dust Rebellion takes the idea of a historic insurrection but sets it in a science fiction setting. And the setting for this game is Mars, 200 years after the first efforts at colonization. After 200 years, cities have built up on Mars underneath the surface that the locals call the labyrinths. The people living on Mars in these close enclosed spaces have developed their own culture, their own uniqueness for being Martian. And in this setting, they are currently still ruled from Earth. And many Martians are thinking, why can't we have self-rule? Why can't we have self-determination? And that is one of the driving factors of conflict in Red Dust Rebellion. There are 4 factions in Red Dust Rebellion. The Martian provisional government is backed from Earth, but it wants legitimacy on Mars. It wants the people on Mars to believe that even if we come from Earth, even if we come from Mars, we're all still human. We're all still one collective species. Their close allies are the Earth-based megacorporations, who view Mars as a great exploitable market and terraforming Mars being the next great profitable enterprise for humanity. They want Mars to be peaceful because peaceful planets make profit. They also really want to prepare the planet for terraforming, and are in the process of building up large bases and other apparatuses to make sure this happens. These 2 forces are the counterinsurgent forces, or COIN forces. And against them are the rebels, starting with Red Dust themselves. Red Dust is a movement based on Martian national identity and workers' rights. It's largely made up of the lower classes of Mars who want more say in how their affairs are run. And they're seeking to build opposition against the government within the labyrinths of Mars in a mass people's movement. They want to present themselves as a government in waiting, a Martian government for Martians. And the final faction are the Reclaimers, a pseudo-religious post-humanist group who believe that humanity has already poisoned Earth, and if given another opportunity to poison a planet, will just destroy Mars in the same way. They seek not to terraform Mars, but to evolve a Martian. Their belief is that humanity should adapt to the worlds it goes to, not that we should adapt the worlds to us. Some of the features in the game is that it's a card-driven war game, quite similar to the rest of the COIN series, but for these distinct differences. It's a hostile planet. Unlike Earth, Mars doesn't have an atmosphere. And in this game, that's represented by dust storms and collateral damage to labyrinths. Bad things can happen to you when you're fighting outside the cities, and if you are fighting in the cities, you'd best make sure not to damage the life-giving infrastructure that keeps everyone alive. Support on Earth is a wonderful thing, but support on Earth has to come from Earth, so a lot of logistics take a long time to get into place. You can have supplies waiting for you on the Aldrin Cycler coming back from Earth, but they'll take 80, 90 days to get to you. This will lead to the corporations and the Mars government having pressure about managing their resources. The COIN forces also maintain a satellite network, which includes spy satellites, mass drivers, and orbital drop pods that can be deployed at different times. This introduces the space conflict domain to the COIN series for the first time. And unlike previous COIN games which focus on one city, this is about a whole planet, and we achieve that by focusing in on 3 distinct battlefields across Mars: Noctis Labyrinthia, Arabia Terra, and the Hellas Basin. These are 3 distinct battlegrounds that you can move back and forth between. So here's some of the real basics about the game. It's for up to 4 players, and we are intending on having solo bots included in the game when it ships. This means you can play with any player count and use bots to fill in the spaces. or you can play a 2-player game playing 2 factions each. And for a war game, it uses very few dice rolls. Conflict in Red Dust Rebellion is quite deterministic. But it's not just a war game, there's a diplomatic aspect to it as well. There are plenty of ways you can harm and help your opponents. And technically, the corporations and the Martian government are actually supposed to be working together, even though only one of them can win. And there'll be a full set of event cards with the lovely art being shown behind me during this video. If you want to know more, check out the GMT page about Red Dust Rebellion. I'll provide a link in the comments below. And I will be doing developer articles on there throughout the course of the pre-order process. The pre-order process, the P500 from GMT, does take time. So even if you pre-order now, the game probably won't be in your hands for some time to come. This is not something you're going to get by Christmas this year, that's for sure. How their process works is once they get 500 pre-orders, they'll start making the game. And of course the game making process can take a long time. There's also a lot more playtesting we need to do during that process, where we bring in big groups of playtesters to really test the heck out of the game. We've been doing a fair bit of testing, but we're going to do a hell of a lot more during this final push. And yeah, this is really exciting for me. This is more exciting than any of the stuff on the channel. Deep down, I've always wanted to be a game designer, more than I've wanted to be a game reviewer. I kind of fell into doing game reviewing. I've set out to make Red Dust Rebellion. And if you are interested, please follow the links and have a look at the stuff. And yeah, if you think the idea of a science fiction counterinsurgency game set on Mars sounds like a cool thing, give it a shot. And if you've got any more questions about the game, I'll try to answer them in the comments, bearing in mind that I can't just put the entire rulebook out there just yet, as we are going to be slowly releasing bits and pieces of information over the development of the game. And when I say development, I mean the final sort of development sprint. I've been developing this for 4 years. We've gone through a whole bunch of different iterations of how the game has looked, and I've got test maps and various bits and pieces and cards and cutouts and you name it. But what we've done recently is we've moved it onto Tabletop Simulator. So I don't actually have a physical copy of the game to show you anymore, because testing on Tabletop Simulator during a pandemic is the way to go. So I look forward to showing you a lot more about this game over the coming months as we go through this pre-order development phase. Thanks for staying to the end and listening to me rabbit on about my game, and as I said before, if you've got anything you want to ask about it, just let me know in the comments and I will do my best to answer them. Take care and thank you.
HUBRIS, Twilight of the Hellenistic World, a game designed by our very own Montrealer, Morgan Guyon-Retzi. And what you got with this game are 22 by 34 inch mounted map, 72 leader cards, 61 event cards, 3 double-sided Roman agenda cards, 4 double-sided Punic war cards, 9 Roman war cards, 37 optional strategy mini cards, strategy, satrapy, sorry. There's a lot of stuff in here. Complexity is medium-high, solitaire suitability is high. Salerno 43, a game designed by Mark Simonich. This is a regiment brigade level game on the Allied invasion of mainland Italy in September 1943 that was super close to my mom's house. But anyways, 2 British and 2 American divisions landed the Bay of Salerno, defended by a full strength of 16 Panzer divisions, which is soon reinforced by 5 other German mechanized divisions. I mean, hell. And what you get with this game is 122 by 25.5 inch game map, a counter sheet, a rule booklet, 2 identical player aid cards, an Allied at start and reinforcement schedule, same for the Germans, 1 6-sided die, and a plastic counter tray. Complexity is medium high, solitaire suitability is medium high. Revolution Games and The Deadly Woods, the Battle of the Bulge. But you probably know all of that, yet another Battle of the Bulge game? I'm reading right off the page. Why yes, but one with a different approach. Specifically award-winning designer HEXES racer has taken a modified version of the chit pull system pioneered in GMT's The Dark Valley, the East Front 41-45, and brought it west for an exciting new take on this classic wargame subject. And what you get with this game is a 22 by 34 inch map, 1 half by 5/8 counter sheet, a rulebook, player aids, game box or Ziploc. Designed by Ted Racer. Tiny Battle Publishing, D-Day and Beyond. This is a game designed by and developed by John Stafford and James Baldrigi. What you get with this game are 2 game maps assembled to one 36 by 28 map of Europe. This is huge! You don't have the table. You better get the table. 1 rule book. Full color order of battle, turn of entry charts. 352 double-sided game counters. 9 by 12.5 game box. Size, that is. And the dice. The gentlemen of the players, they don't sleep and don't make me sleep because they have many videos. Well, only 3, but whatever. They are unboxing Beneath the Med from GMT Games, also unboxing Dawn's Early Light from Compass Games, and reviewing Rogue State from Tiny Battle Publishing. And for our Spanish-speaking audience, Julius Fairfax, check out Brief Border Wars, a game by Compass Games. And the chief of Bonding with Board Games unboxes, Target for Today from Legion War Games. Also unboxes Apocalypse Road from Jeff Horger's design, published by GMT, and he interviews Dr. Larry Pinsky from Avalon Hill, and the Chief's Vlog, B-17 Mission 10, Mando Ambush. And Matt White, the wargame artist, checks out Special Ops, the Wargaming Journal, Autumn for Barbarossa by MMP. And the man with the public broadcasting voice, the Oaken Night, checks out Breakout Normandy, Deluxe Edition, a game designed by Don Greenwood and Jim Stoller. And Cody of the Discriminating Gamer asks the question, what kind of a Frenchman was Napoleon? Well, Dr. Carlson, he was Italian. Anyways, he checks out Napoleon's Return 1815 by Worthington Publishing. And a soft-spoken but formidable foe! Jonathan Townsend checks out Napoleon's later campaigns by Marcus Stumter, 2018 comparison to Bonaparte series by Keith Poulter, 1980. And on his podcast, Mauro Faina checks out in episode 27 of Il Giannizzero Nero, Panzer Leader Improved. And Ardwulf of ARDWULF'S LAIR has 3 videos out, the first one being a 3,000 subscriber big giveaway. Then he checks out Tranquility Base and The Mission by White Dog Games. Tranquility Base is by Worthington Publishing Games. And for all our Italian listeners, the Federation of Italian Wargaming, Federazione Italiana Wargame, does a clip on Wings of Glory. The Cane Master, Marco Omnigamer, takes a look at Multi-Man Publishing's Panzer Battles, 11 Panzer on the Chir River. Jim Wazarski does a The Battle of Cape, and I hope I pronounce this right, Ortegal, for Fighting Sail. Counterproductive Games continues his gameplay part 2 of Tiny Battle Publishing's A Matter of Honor. Little Wars TV asks, is Zhukov overrated? Tony's Board Life is finishing his final live stream of Liberty or Death, a Harold Buchanan game, plus what's in the box, a GMT P500, and he shows you his storage opinions, and he plays MMP's Rock of the Marne, turn number 4. Lock and Load Publishing and your host, the OG, Devin Heidel, is continuing the gameplay between himself and Johnny, playing First Probe from the Lock and Load tactical module, Heroes Against the Red Star. Kevin of the Big Board is deep in play with the Standard Combat Series Iron Curtain. a game by MMP. Seek Out and Play plays a single round, an example round found in the rulebook of David Thompson and Trevor Benjamin's Undaunted North Africa. The man famously known as Calandale, Enrico Viglino, continues his Fall of Rome. He gives us a review and scenario number 1 playthrough and quit, he says. And for all our Polish listening friends, Wojnek TV episode 481 is checking out The Lost Valley, The Siege of Dien Bien Phu, an unboxing, a game by White Dog Games. You know, I have to say this. Not once in my life of 56 years have I ever met a Polish person that I didn't like. What is it?
A game for gamers, made by gamers, by Flying Pig Games.
Hey guys, ID Jester here. Let's talk about the week that was on the old YouTube channel. So, last Saturday we got another great episode of The War Room with Tony's Board Life and Rough Swordsman Wargamer. In fact, we have already signed up and scheduled a few guests to come on the show in the next couple weeks, so be sure to come by either Saturday or Sunday for our live stream of the War Room, and we hope to see you there. As far as what we got actually played here on the channel this week, we got Legendary Encounters Aliens Edition, a good old deck building game by Upper Deck. Then we got a great game of Tank Duel in. And this one's by GMT, and this one was a 2-on-2 battle between some Panzer IVs and some T-34s. Then of course it was election night, so what game are you going to play on election night other than, that's right, 1960, The Making of the President, again by GMT Games. And then we rounded the week out. Of course, what week wouldn't be complete without a nice coin game in? We started new playthrough of Alien Abyss, part of the coin game system by GMT. That's it for this week. We'll see you all next week. Take care.
Mo of Mo's Game Tables taking a look at Aliens role-playing starter set. Role-playing game starter set from Freely Publishing Preview. This is a preview of that game. I wish I could speak, but I can't. And also, Mo is taking a look at Compass Games' An Attrition of Souls. This is a preview. Rough Swordsman's Wargamer is gonna get shellacked in Dream Team designer Herman Lattman's game Crowbar. The Rangers at points up from Flying Pig Games. This is a playthrough and it's part 2. Ruff is also opening the box to DVG's Warfighter World War II New Battle Pack expansions number 54 and 56. And the war game philosopher A.J. Toynbee, also known as Hexes and Soldiers, has his friend Frankenstein, and I'll say that again, has his friend Frankenstein unbox Command and Colors. Does it get any weirder than that? Sure, he lives in New Orleans. Wayne Hansen, in his Recon segment, takes a look at Morris Suckling's design, Chancellorsville 1863. This is an unboxing video of the solitaire and 2-player game Chancellorsville, designed by, as I said, Morris Suckling, published by Worthington Publishing. The Hugh Hefner of War Games War D-Robe does some weird Happy Halloween Gunberry. Well, I don't know, but it's a music video Halloween style, which is quite scary, and, you know, that band could be just a little bit tighter, you know, a few more years of practice. And also, he does a 2x2 Flame of Wars, The Hills scenario. Gimpy of the Gimpy Gamer has a shellacking's worth of videos, and he gives us his War Diary magazine. Also, Gimpy's gal guesses the shores of Tripoli, and she also guesses Custer. And Gimpy gives us his different view on Descent, 3rd edition. Stephen Dolges is on a GMT rampage with about 27,000 videos, one of them being the beginning of Storm in the West, an unboxing and a playthrough, turns 1 and 2 and strategy talk of that GMT game 1918-1919 Storm in the West. I think I've said that before. He unboxes Next War, Vietnam, and also Kaiser, Rome versus Gaul. If you're gonna say Kaiser or Caesar, say it right. It's Kaiser. UGG or Ugo Greb Games. This is a game designed, and I'm not even gonna try to say it, by Arno and Frederick. It's called The Longest Trench. This is a strategic hybrid board card game about the First World War for mainly 2 players. The game recreates World War I in a historical series of land and sea battles. DVG and Soldiers in Postman Uniform, a game designed by David Thompson, Volume 3 in the Valiant Defense series. In Soldiers in Postman's Uniform, the player will control the valiant defenders of Polish Postal Office number 1 in the free city of Danzig on the first day of World War II. Worthington Publishing and Soviet Dawn, the Russian Civil War 1918 to 1921 Deluxe Edition. This is a game designed by Darren Leveloff, which is a State of Siege series game. Let's talk about something here, eh? The San Diego Historical Games Convention. I think this is the biggest thing I've ever seen. Just imagine if this was I'm not going to say live event, because it is a live event. Imagine if this was an in-person event. Man, it would be awesome. Let me just start by mentioning a couple of names here, okay? Who's going to be there? Mark Herman, well, he's going to do the C3I Waterloo, Versailles 1919, and Empire of the Sun. What's he going to do with that? I don't know. Check it out on the schedule. Volko Ronke is going to do Nevsky, Hunt for Blackbeard, Liberty or Death, Wellington, Great Combat, Great American Civil Wars, Great something, oh my god, I forget anyways, and Great War Commander. What's he going to do? Check it out. Go San Diego Historicon. Mike Bertuccelli is going to be there. Tank Duel is going to do. North Africa, the Wolf Pack, his new game. Uva is going to be there. Conflict of Heroes is going to check out. Cole Worley, Bruce Mansfield, David Thompson, Morgan Guillon-Retzi, John Butterfield, Anada Gupta, and Jason Matthews. Who are those guys? What are they going to do? I don't know. Harold Buchanan's even going to be there. Nepotism. Ryan Heilman, Dave Shaw, Fred Serval, Dan Bullock, Keith Tracton. I might even show up. I don't know. I want to see what's going on at the convention. I don't want to be part of the... I don't want to miss anything, but hey, things are what they are. Check it out. San Diego Historical Con. Check it out. I have a headache. Another week. Another show. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and give me some comments. And don't forget, Grognard of the Year. And please support this channel through Patreon. Thank you very much, and I will see you next week.